Hello, everyone. This is Rose Gold, and today we're getting into part 10th, or the 10th part of whatever Naruto was experimented on. This part will also be the last part. As always, like, subscribe, and join the Discord, where I finally fixed the link. Yeah, that was pretty fun to find out, or you won't be able to sleep tonight. But now let's get straight into part 10. As Obito saw what Naruto tried to do, he started to form the hand seals, and suddenly the seven-tailed beasts were dragged into the Gerumazo very forcefully. Minato appeared just as suddenly, and after Obito tried to fire a tailed beast bomb with the newly formed ten tails, teleported away with no trouble, and and landed right where Naruto was, asking him, "Was I late?" To which Naruto responded, No, Dad, you were just in time." As Minato arrived, three more Kage came after, until the most important one came. Sasuke Uchiha. After Obito and Kakashi had a fight where the seal on Obito's heart was destroyed, the distraught Uchiha clapped his hands together, performing the six paths, ten-tailed coffin seal. The ten tails was forced into Obito's body by this jutsu, and a black orb appeared to have consumed Obito. However, that was just blatantly wrong, as the black orb started to crack around Obito's white and scaly skin. It was only seen in very small cracks, until suddenly the entire black ball cracked open, revealing the new figure standing before them, Obito, the ten-tailed Jinchuriki. Obito's skin was a whitish gray with scales along the start of his upper body and a black staff in his hands with six jet black orbs behind him. If his appearance wasn't enough to scare you, his power would be enough, as he suddenly used a hand seal. Two of the six orbs flew toward his hands, one to the right, one to the left, and formed into a sword, which had a remarkable resemblance to DNA actually, and a circle that was meant to be a shield. As Sasuke stood there, he asked about the situation quickly, to which Naruto replied that the only important thing right now was taking down Obito, to which Sasuke just nodded, and for the first time in a while, Team 7 was reunited. Naruto smirked at the reunion, but when he tried to attack Obito, it it didn't do any damage? That doesn't make sense. Naruto was surprised and also slightly terrified at the lack of damage, so he jumped back to assess the situation in a more calm manner, and that he did, suddenly realizing a fatal flaw with Obito's new form. To test his new theory out, Naruto summoned Kamakichi, who was surprisingly large now, and had him spit a water-style jutsu with his nature energy enhanced chakra, and it worked. Naruto's theory was correct. That theory being that only nature energy enhanced attacks would work against him. As Naruto saw the water attack actually almost melting the black orb, he was delighted until he realized, oh god, how was he going to have Sage Mode activated whilst he has Kurama Chakra Mode 2 activated? No. However, that stress was quickly relieved from his mind as Kurama told him that he could try and activate his Sage Mode whilst he had KCM2 activated, as that form was pretty much based upon nature energy as well. And Naruto did indeed try that, so in the outside world, he closed his eyes and started to collect natural energy until his eyes shot open and his pupils had changed into a sort of plus, and he had reddish orange coloring around his eyes. Naruto's power was growing steadily, and he was quite fond of that. Obito, seeing this, was infuriated, not because of Naruto doing anything against toward him, but because he was contradicting his view on life, so he just shouted, "Foolish child! You really think you'll be able to stand up to me? Even your dad, one of the pitiful Hokage, wasn't even able to beat me." Of course, like we know, that last part was a lie, but Obito only wanted Naruto to feel discouraged, however, the latter was only infuriated. "How dare you!" Naruto was teleported to Obito's back and hit him with a clean Rasengan that did some immense damage. "My father is nothing but awesome to me." The fight began. Now the fight with Obito went pretty much like normal. However, Naruto was able to kind of pin him down with his wood style once, but that really didn't do too much in the fight, so I'll just say that went like the original. However, at the end of the fight, Naruto and Sasuke were killed by Obito with one last surprise attack, after they extracted his tail piece. Naruto and Sasuke's lifeless bodies were laying on the ground in front of Obito, who laughed at their bodies until a second after in the real world, but a long time in their minds. They stood up, with their wounds healed. The Sage of Six Paths had given them his powers to finally end the war and seal the Ten Tails away for good. Naruto and Sasuke start to beat on Obito, and let's say, well, it wasn't really pretty. As Obito was forced to the ground and almost killed, Black Zetsu slithered over and took control of him and had him use the reanimation jutsu on Madara, who then swiftly became the Ten-Tailed Jinchuriki. However, he did not have enough time to enjoy this new power as the Zetsu controlled Obito stabbed right through his chest with a clean hit, and suddenly his body bubbled up. It was a gruesome sight to behold as Madara's body slowly developed into the strongest being there ever was. Kaguya Otsutsuki was in front of them. Naruto tried to seal her away, but it was unsuccessful, so the fight went pretty much like the original, with Naruto using his reverse harem jutsu like the original. After the fight was finished, Sasuke stared at Naruto with hate-filled eyes, until seeing Naruto saying goodbye to his father for the last time, and he looked away in shame. As Naruto walked over and tried to form the hand signs to finally deactivate the infinite Tsukuyomi, his hand was slapped away as Sasuke stared at all of the tail beasts, putting them into a genjutsu until having them all trapped. No, no! Naruto was cut off as the tail beasts were all sealed away, and their battle began shortly. At the start, they were both pretty evenly matched, as Naruto wasn't going for the kill. However, his chakra reserves outmatched Sasuke's by a ton, so when the last Rasengan clash finally took place, Naruto won, but his arms were still torn off. Of course, like the original, they still saw each other's flashbacks and made up when they were awake again. You skip ahead a few years to a very specific wedding. Naruto was marrying Hinata, and Sasuke was there as his man of honor. Now, I hope you all enjoyed this series. I definitely enjoyed writing it, but now it's time to move on to the next series. I really, I do hope from the bottom of my heart that you enjoyed and joined the Discord, etc. But this is Rose Gold, and I am out.